But if we continue to say, let's take AI and use it to make incremental gains in efficiency on the way the SOC is, and still have a SOC that is predicated on a human sitting at a keyboard responding to events, we are going to have problems, because we will never solve all of the problems we have. We need to build an architecture where we trust the responses, just like we do in intent-based configuration. And then we have overseers. Now, you talked about humans in the loop versus humans over the loop. What I'm talking about is changing the loop completely, so that the whole point of intent-based configuration is you don't come in under the hood and tweak things, because then the intent-based configuration system is going to say, that was a change that wasn't in my system. I'm going to go overwrite it again, right? Yeah. Reverse it. And that's what I'm talking about here, is rethinking the way we do SOC systems, so that it is 100% predicated on an automated system, with humans going afterwards and saying, is it working the way I believe I intend to? And we need to change the intent based of the system so that it fixes.
So I would understand the principle. I would push back a little bit, because intent-based networking, or intent-based computing, like Kubernetes environments, right? They work on a set of primitives. They work at a level of abstraction where things are relatively constrained, right? You worry about, okay, does the pod have the right number of containers? Yes, it does. Great, we're going. Does the pod have access? Is the volume access for the containers work? Okay, great. We're good. We're not going to change anything. Security operations is wildly more chaotic than that, right? In the sense that you're trying to, first of all, to account for signals in behavior from an adversary that is chaotic by nature, right? You are trying to figure out, where does the broader context for the organization fit in. So, for example, if you see some weird website pop up with your brand, do you know if that is brand abuse, or is that just the marketing team firing up a new website for a new campaign that's going on? You need that context. That level of connection between security operations and the rest of the organization, that level of abstraction, that I don't think we can intent away.
Well, and please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that intent-based security is the right thing. What I'm talking about is, I'm using that as an example of automation and trusting the automation, and that
100%.
We need to change the fundamental predicates of SOC today. Is a human is doing the work. And now what we're doing is applying AI to saying, let's make the human do the work a little bit faster and just a little bit more better, and give him him or her, give the SOC analyst instantaneous access to information rather than making them search for that information, which is great. But I don't think that will scale. And I think we need to rethink that predicate of the human doing it and saying, how do we build a system that is 100% predicated on automation, like a compiler? Nobody questions the compiler. Nobody questions Kubernetes, that it's going to work. Nobody questions any of these things. It's a hard problem to solve, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to solve it.
Jack, I love the fact that you are so hopeful about this future where automation will rule everything. And I'll tell you why we won't get there anytime soon. CEOs can't yell at an AI agent. No, the problem is that people want a human in the loop as an oversight tool. Not because we want to make sure that a human understands what's going on. It's because the key stakeholders in the organization want somebody to yell at when something goes wrong.